Yeah.
Just until maybe after final decisions are made, you take off intercourse.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Talking to you guys about Married at First Sight, Miles and Karen. And we're going to dissect and go a little bit deeper, talking about how Miles and Karen both admitted that they didn't feel quite yet married. But I think it goes a bit deeper than that. I don't feel they feel they're even together, let alone married. But hey, guys, we'll discuss that as we go along. Hey, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are, well, returnees, you already know what it is, baby. Okay, listen. You really know what it is, baby. Alright? You got the minerals, you got the minerals. Alright, let's get into the video. Let's not take much time. Hey, don't forget to grab your merchandise. Send them back to the manufacturer. We appreciate you. Alright, cool. So, here's the thing. Miles and Karen, I really think they obviously are great. I think they could be great, but there's so many issues that are not getting sorted out. Okay? So, I'm going to take the point where they spoke about Dr. Viviana when she came across. And I think I said in my other review, I said, listen, I really appreciate Dr. Viviana coming, but I feel like people are copping out here.
Sensual boundary that then frees you up and gives you permission to do things that you are comfortable.
Yeah, I feel like that, and maybe it's not their fault, maybe it's to do the contract, maybe it's to do the show producers and how they want it to be done nowadays. But it's like you're just leaving people to their devices. Like, that's not what Married at First Sight was. I remember back in it was a few seasons ago. Like when people, even what do you call it? What the famous couple, the bald-head guy and the girl with the red hair, when she was acting mad, they had individual counseling from the experts. You know what I'm saying? Like the experts we need the experts to be hands-on, okay? Because we're trying to see marriages win. Because you're saying that you expect couples to see each other at first sight and make it work. And necessarily, we don't have the tools. That's why you're experts. Otherwise, all you're doing is matchmaking. This isn't, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's my rant done. But, obviously when it comes to Dr. Viviana, one thing I noticed straight away is, again, I mean, they were kind of close, but they weren't close. Like, their body language, again, tells me there's a lack of intimacy. Okay, there is a lack of intimacy in this relationship that is not happening, and I can see it all over, right? And so here's the thing, they are struggling because they have two ideas, right? One's about he wants to be able to go more physically intimate. She doesn't, and it's not just physically intimate; it's emotional intimacy as well. In the sense of she doesn't want to discuss. She's not open to discuss. She's not as good as discussing emotions, right? It's not her favorite thing to talk about. She's not as open when it comes to discussing intimacy, when it gets to more physical and more sexual. She doesn't touch him as much. She doesn't initiate as much. She doesn't compliment him as much. Like, yo, there's a lot going on, yeah, that's not going down. You understand? So it's not just the sex. It's everything. And then the sex on top is what caused issues. So the whole removal of sex on the table didn't make sense for me, because that's not the only issue. Do you understand? It's a cop-out. When you don't deal with the actual issue, it's a cop-out. Anyway, so the question I was asked, do you guys feel...
So what's it been like? Mm-hmm. Do you feel married?
No. In moments.
Okay. What's missing?
Married, both Miles and Karen looked at each other, laughed, and they both said they don't. Now, for me, this felt like a bigger issue. Why? Because I understand after 4 weeks, you're not going to feel married. It's almost like turning 21 or 18. You don't necessarily feel 18, 21. Do you understand? Like on your birthday. Do you get what I'm saying? So I can understand that. It's still new, it's still fresh. But I think the bigger problem here is not that they don't feel in a marriage. They don't feel like they are in a relationship in general. Why do I say that? Let's look at the past few weeks. Are you not forgetting the boat situation? When they were on the boat and people asked them to explain what their relationship is like, and they were like, she was like, oh, it feels like, we're like, he's like a stranger to me, but he's not a stranger to me. And it's like, yo, what the frick are you talking about, blood? First of all, y'all ain't even going to work. You're in each other's lives for the last 2-3 weeks together, okay? It was enough time to get to know who the frick is in front of you. And do you know what I mean? Like, deep it, yeah. Deep our relationships like nowadays, yeah, where you can see someone on internet, yeah. You can see them on Instagram. You go 2-3 dates and you're already knowing whether you're liking it or not liking it. You understand? You already know. So the fact that we're here and you guys get to spend intimate time with each other, considerable amounts of time with each other throughout the day, points that we don't even see, because conversations are had off camera too, and still you're not feeling that you're in a marriage. And I don't think it's marriage per se. I think it's feeling like we're in a relationship, or even feeling like we even know who the other person is in some shape or some form, right? And that for me is concerning. That's what I feel concerning.
Like, I didn't expect to feel as like connected to Karen as I do right now. 3 weeks in, I think we're discovering more about each other each day. And
for me, I can see that Miles is falling quicker. Has fallen even. My man's pretending as if, like he said later on in the thing where he said, you know what, obviously I trust you, you know, I just haven't given you my heart, like, you know, I haven't given up all my heart. And I'm like, Miles, is that really true? I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that. Sir, I don't know if I believe that. Just by your behavior, I don't know if I believe that. I think definitely you're starting to wake up and recover and say, actually, I don't know if this is, like, if she's not going to open about this, it's going to be concerning for me. But I don't know if you've not given your heart. I think you have. Like, if she opens up now, you're done. If she opens up now and does what you want, you gonna be a different man tomorrow. Do you feel what I'm saying? Yeah? And so that when he said obviously he didn't expect to feel as connected as he did, it's like, yo, bro, you when you say that, you are basically saying that you didn't expect yourself to fall as quickly as you did. It's not connected. Fall. You fallen, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think that's why also it makes it harder for you to be as direct in your conversation as you want to be, because you've caught a big fish. For you, Karen is a big fish. She's so pretty, beautiful to you, good looking, eats the food that you like eating, cooks for you, da 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 da. Right? But she's just not on it. You understand? She's not on it the way that you want her to be on it at this precise moment.
Like, I move slower in general, you know, like when it comes to dating, which I know I'm married now, but just as far as like the process of getting to know.
Okay, so that was something that I clocked as well. And so obviously I think listening to him obviously said, obviously, you know, they're talking about the struggle of the relationship, or struggles that they're facing, especially for him, is the fact that obviously there's a disconnect in the emotional conversation, and then obviously I guess the physical touch in terms of touching complements as well in terms of emotional again. So there is this disconnect in the area, and I think this is why I was saying that in the last review, that the diving in has to be at this point. We don't need to address, like, sex is the end of it, but we need, yeah, I mean, with the situation, we want to dive in deeper and find out why, Karen, you can't do those things. So when obviously they say there's a struggle, the struggle is the fact that they're not connecting on that point. And I think it's very evidently shown, I think, later on when they're talking about pet names. So that again shows itself to be true, that she struggles with the pet name thing. And what I didn't like, I think in that scene as well, and I think I'll come on to that, but I just want to mention it, is the fact that Dr. Viana was kind of almost aiding Karen's behaviour. And I'm like, blood, oh, I can see that you're cringing. Deal with it, Dr. Viviana.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You're like cringing over there. You're cringing. Why are you cringing?
Yeah? Deal with the fact that she's cringing. Why are you cringing? Do you see my thing? Listen, it's so interesting because I remember when I first got into a relationship, yeah, I used to say the word, I used to hate holding hands. Couldn't do it. Yeah? It's because the way my life was set up, the way my family set up, the way that we were reared, yeah, was so different. Yeah? So we never really dealt with those kind of things in our family. Like that physical love kind of thing. Never really got that from daddy, you know? No beef to him. He never had that. So the way he showed us was a bit different. Alright, cool. When I had my first girlfriend, she wanted to do all that hand stuff. I said, what's this hand stuff? My hand was mad stiff. Just stiff. I couldn't loosen, blood. You understand? So she wanted to hold my hand and stuff like that. She's like, oh, I really like us when we hold hands. And I'm like, what the frick is this hold hand stuff? I said, is this what girls do to you? They start changing you like this. I said, no, I can't really deal with this, right? Not knowing that I've got the deficiency. Alright, cool. But after a while, it went. After a while, it went. I didn't feel it no more. After a while of doing it, I didn't feel it no more. There was no need for an explanation. She wanted to do it, so I did it, right? And after a while, I realized, actually, I like doing this. It's not even bad. Now, that was me. Let's say she still feels bad after doing it, right? She's not comfortable doing it. There must be discussion around it. Why are you still struggling to be able to do it? Why are you cringing? And then why is Dr. Viviana also saying, I can see you cringing there and not deal with it? You know, and you're laughing, almost like you're laughing with her. Like, are you forgetting that Miles is there? Are you forgetting that Miles is in a relationship with the woman? Are you forgetting that Miles also wants to feel like he's loved and feel like he's attended for, right? Like, I find it mad. Like, I find it mad that, you know, someone can't tell you that you look.
Okay.
So like it puts me in a position where I'm like, I don't know if you like this or I don't know if you like this. It was like a trial and error type thing.
And the thing is that a lot of men...
Good, you know what I'm saying? Yo, you look nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it's mad. I get a sharp new haircut. You can't tell me I look nice. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's start dealing with the core issues. Let's not dodge. She and what I will give her hands. I'll put my hands up and say, do you know what, I appreciate Karen for saying this. Is that she doesn't want to look like she's playing him, right? She doesn't want to look like she's doing him dirty when she's not able to do these things, right? Because she's obviously trying to say that she does care for him. She's not trying to play him or anything like that, right? And so I get that, and I appreciate that, and I know that she's not necessarily. I've said this from the jump. I am not saying that Karen intentionally does anything. I think I've got to a place where I'm trying to learn. People don't often do things intentionally. They just don't know how to behave or don't know how to communicate. And I'm not, again, I'm agreeing with her point. I don't think she's doing it intentionally. But she is doing it. There is playing about. You know what I'm saying? Because when you dodge conversations, but then accuse someone of not being accuse someone that 8 years ago, that's how you were when the person was unable to articulate how they felt. But then they asked you questions about how to be more intimate, etc., and you didn't want to answer it because you didn't want to have a conversation at that point because you didn't feel comfortable. Like, blood, how, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got a let me not go. I'm gonna rant if I do, bro. Do you know what I mean? All I'm saying is that, you know, what we want is understanding that, yes, we know you're not intentionally doing this to hurt Miles, but some of the actions that you are doing are beginning to grate on him. Why are you waiting for him to say that I actually am hurt? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're so self-aware and conscious, why are you waiting for him to say you're hurt before he's hurt? You know what I mean? Like, if you know that he wants certain things from you, right, and you're unable to do that, your job then, if you're self-aware, then is to have that conversation. Listen, look, I'm aware that you want a bit more affection from me. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, do you know what? I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but let's look at a way how to do this. Not dodge a conversation about intimacy because you didn't feel like it was the right time for you. You didn't feel like it was the right time for you. Rather than rescheduling the conversation, say, listen, do you know what? Right now, probably not the best time to talk about intimacy because I'm not in the mood for it. But can we like discuss this later on, or can we discuss this another time? Right? That would have been beautiful. But you didn't do that. You dismissed it. Do you know what I mean? Rejection. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so you have to take that all into account.
If I was to kiss him with as much passion as he kisses me, that might ignite a fire that then I'm like, let's put that fire out, that it's going to be frustrating for you.
Karen's explanation for the reason why she don't want to have the sex situation or too much intimacy in terms of physical touch is because she doesn't want to stoke up too much fire, then he wants more, and she doesn't want more, and so she doesn't start it at all. Now, it makes sense. Listen, it makes sense. But it makes sense for somebody who's not really interested, rather than someone who's scared. Do you feel me? It makes, like, you say you trust Miles. You know what he's about. So basically what she has said inadvertently, without saying it, is that I don't trust that if I was to touch you, you will take it further. Whew. Do you know how mad that is?
You do what a lot of people do, which is, let me just stay way back so that we don't even have to go there, so that there is no fire to put out. That totally makes sense. Doesn't that make sense?
No. This is what I'm saying to you, get the experts. They need to be on job. You understand? Because out here sitting there saying, I understand what you're saying. It makes sense, doesn't it? Like, all of that's not this, bruv. You need to focus on what the person's not saying, not just what they've said. The girl has said, or Dr. Viviana cleared it up for us, okay, by saying she doesn't want to stoke up the fire because obviously when she stokes up the fire and then she wants to stop and you don't want to stop, you might feel like you don't want to stop. She doesn't want to hurt you by doing that, etc., etc. So she's got to calm down. Yeah. So rather than having that situation, just don't do it at all. Number one, for someone to even do that would mean that, number one, to do that, right? You're saying that you actually have feelings or have inclination or a desire to even be of a physical nature or physically intimate on that spectrum anyway, number one. Number two, it sounds like, and I'm going to say it sounds like because I don't want to accuse, but it does sound like and it looks like that you're basically saying that you don't trust, because inadvertently that's what it will come down to. I don't trust when I take it, let's say all I want to do is cuddle. Yeah, you know certain man them, innit? You know certain man them, yeah? That if you want a cuddle with him, you know it's not going to be a cuddle alone. You already know that if you try to cuddle this guy, he wants sex. Yeah? Girls, you know this, you've gone through those kind of guys where you just want to cuddle, you want to watch Netflix and chill, but he doesn't understand Netflix and chill. Completely different, right? Completely different. Why is that completely different? Because this one's a relationship aspect. You feel me? And you can communicate that to your partner. Say, babe, look, tonight, look, I am not in the mood for sex. I'm not gonna lie to you. But you probably you've been having sex. You've been being intimate. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So now, you saying, oh, look, babe, tonight, that's really not the night. I'm just kind of tired. I want to watch Netflix and chill with you. Let's cuddle. All right, cool. Man, I'm gonna respect that's your partner. But we're here. We're talking about obviously communicating. We're talking about communicating, right? Where did Karen communicate this? Because this was at Dr. Viviana. So you're telling me that you're talking about someone 8 years ago couldn't articulate themselves. This is why I said I don't believe her point about her saying, when I made a comment about you saying about that was me 8 years ago, I was unable to articulate myself. It's nonsense, because you couldn't articulate right now that you don't want to escalate things, because then you would have to de-escalate. And you don't think you would be able to do that, in a sense, right? Now, some of you may disagree with me. Comment down below, let me know. So for when I heard that, I said, this is kind of concerning, because you're basically saying that you don't trust him to de-escalate. You don't think he can stop at this point.
I offer up an idea. Mm-hmm. What if the two of you decided just to take that off of the table?
You don't think that if you say you just want a hug, it will stay at a hug, because you feel like he will want more, right? So and again, this goes back to my original point of who's leading. I can't lead because you're leading. You understand? And so, Doctor, and what really annoyed me is, again, Dr. Viviana almost pleading with Miles, like, that makes sense, right, Miles? That makes sense.
Fire to put out. That totally makes sense. Doesn't that make sense? Can I offer up an...
Trying to almost get him on side. You know what I mean? Like, and so at that point, he just has to accept it. Because the expert once he's an expert, she's an authoritarian, right? And the psychology of an authoritarian is that it's very hard to go against an authoritarian because you want to look like something else. So when she's saying that scene of not trust and, of saying those things, it's concerning. It is concerning because when you deep it in its fullest entirety and take it to the full conclusion, you see, how can Dr. Viviana be now trying to, you see what she means now, don't you? You see what she, brother, no, I don't, I'm not gonna lie to you. And his face told you everything. He don't agree, and he don't understand. But he's willing to be patient and wait, right? Because I think, again, he's got the inability to communicate how he feels is also a problem. He needs to be able to state it. Look, I don't agree. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let's deal with the underlying issues here. But again, it requires a certain level of language and understanding. And what we just saw was him just kind of smiling at that point. He smiled, but it was an uncomfortable smile. Like, it was an uncomfortable truce. It was an uncomfortable compromise, yeah, for him to come down to. And the reason why is because his needs never got addressed. Dr. Viviana didn't actually address his needs. It wasn't a compromise. It was a shutdown. How about we take sex off the table? But it wasn't sex that was the actual issue. It was everything in regards to that. I'm sure that Miles could have said, you know what, yes, sex may be a big thing, but I can see that we're actually really growing in the, you're complimenting me, you're touching me, you're hugging me, you're wanting to snuggle up with me. Remember the whole snuggle situation. Remember that whole snuggle situation, right? Because obviously that was mentioned in this particular scene about her not wanting to snuggle up. Remember last episode where she said, "Oh, I don't mind snuggling with I don't want to snuggle with things, just not really people." Like she made that kind of joke, right? Again, it shows you again this person is struggling in this area and would need some extensive help. So this particular scene, I just wanted to point out there's a few things that I saw and I was like, I'm not really feeling it.
Like that, I wouldn't say I trust you fully with my heart at this point.
And Miles asked her, "Oh, do you trust me?" Right? And she said that she doesn't fully trust him. And then she doesn't fully trust him. And then she sat up, fluffed the pillow, sat up, and was like, "Okay, let's have a serious conversation." And then Miles always said, "Look, I trust you, but I haven't given you my whole heart," which again I don't believe is true. And then he went on to ask the question,
But how do you think we can build trust?
I feel like you see it in someone over time. So like you coming through and showing up and like,
how do we build trust? And she said, obviously, show up in difficult moments, because in those difficult moments, then I can see who you truly are. And I was like, again, so that's when the trust will be built. So when you get to see the dark, she basically wants to see the dark side of him, right? And listen, me too. I like to see the dark side of a partner, right? But it's not going to stop me doing everything else. It just means I'm a bit more cautious. I'm aware. I monitor. I observe. I check how behaviors are. But I don't stop and down tools. Do you know why? Because it's not in me to down the tools. When people down the tools, because they don't really want to do it in the first place. That's the frankness of it. Like, you didn't really want to do those intimate things in the first place. And so you're downing tools and saying, obviously, look, when I see the dark side, when I see the dark side finally. But she said she has seen the dark side. Didn't she say?
and you're upset with me, like who are you in the not so happy moments?
Yeah. You feel like you've seen some of those moments yet?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so if you've seen the dark side, sis, you said obviously it's gonna get there. It's going. You're moving at the roadblocks now. You're removing them. Let's see the roadblocks removed, because right now I don't see the roadblocks removed. I didn't see the massage as anything crazy. The same way I don't see as her cooking anything crazy. Do you know what I mean? It's an act of service. I don't see it as anything crazy. It's not intimate. You understand? Like, the massage that she did wasn't necessarily as intimate. It's a massage. You know what I'm saying? Like, people do that when they want to have sex. Like, people want to do that for the fun and for the jokes, bruv. Like, it's not necessarily an indication that this person, they wouldn't do this if they were. No. Let's take into account all the evidence that we've seen, right?
No, it's because you just made this wonderful dish, right? And you were about to offer.
It was interesting because I think the last thing that kind of Miles said in that particular discussion was about the whole lobster mac cheese or whatever, and he said, and this is where I saw I wouldn't say possessiveness, but possessiveness might be a better word. How he sees trust and betrayal. So for him, when he saw that the food that she had cooked, which I believe for him is an indication of her love, or her indication of her liking him, because remember, he's not getting verbal confirmation. He has to take action. He has to take her actions as words. And bear in mind, remember some episodes back when they invited their friends over, how did he describe about her behavior? He said to the friends, at one night, Karen got up in the middle of the night, cooked a whole crayfish or whatever, blah, 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 did a whole meal for him to come and eat. Do you see? Right? So she did all of that. So that maybe for him, maybe one of the ways that he's trying to take an action as this person cares for me. Yeah? Because I think Karen's love language is acts of service, which is why it's easy for her to cook, why it's easy for her to do things for Miles, but not necessarily be in his physical presence. Do you understand? So the whole cook thing previously, this is where it comes up again in terms of the lobster mac cheese, and I saw you was about to offer it to everybody else before you offered it to me. And she said, that's when I saw the anger in him, right? And he was like,
like a target on my face. Like, you literally looked at me like, I'm gonna kill her when they get out of here.
No, it's because you just made this wonderful dish, right? And you were about to offer.
It's meant, you're meant to offer that to me thing. He saw that as a betrayal. Do you understand? Like, if we're a team, you know, you should be putting me first because I would put what? You first. And so now you're starting to see glimpses of Miles starting to break past the whole everything's perfect kind of look. You know what I'm saying? And food can be one of those ways. Food is a big thing because I think I did it. One of my earliest videos on YouTube was about should you cook for another man? If you got a man raised, should you be cooking for another man? And I said to her, look, you shouldn't be. Like, and I'm not saying every person. Listen, if you've got a friend, it's understandable, whatever. But, you know, judge it properly. You know what I mean? Like, be very careful because how people view food is a very intimate thing. So for you to go and cook for somebody else, or even give out food to somebody else before you're giving it to your husband or giving it to your partner, can be seen in a way that is like you're breaking trust. You're breaking relationship boundaries. But yeah, guys, we'll leave it there. We'll address the last video where we'll have a last talking about one of the other scenes, and we'll just kind of break it down for you guys as well. So make sure you guys stay locked, stay loaded. We appreciate you. Comment down below what your thoughts and feelings are.